In other news, John Beargrease sled dog teams competing in the mid-distance race crossed the finish line this morning. Dewolski finished first in the 2026 Beargrease 120. Here's a look at him finishing at the Trestle Inn in Finland, Minnesota. That was around 4:45 this morning, and it was about 16 hours after the race started in Duluth yesterday. Dewolski from Fairbanks, Alaska, and then around an hour later, Grand Marais' Joanna Oberg finished second. Rita Wessler from Tofte coming in third. The Beargrease 120 is that mid-distance race traveling through the Sawtooth Mountains on the North Shore.
Meanwhile, teams in the full Beargrease Marathon are starting to hit the Trail Center checkpoint. Here's a look at some of those competitors riding into the checkpoint today. Trail Center is about 160 miles up the race trail. Race officials say teams are likely to take a good rest of 4 hours or more at this checkpoint after racing through the Sawtooth Mountains. And here's a look at where things stand in the full marathon. Ryan Anderson is currently slated as the leader for the race. He's from St. Croix Falls. So far, he has spent just under 16 hours on the trail. Aaron Eiley from Ray is in second, and Jesse Terry from Ontario is third. Eiley was last year's winner. The race kicked off yesterday in Duluth, and teams will finish in Grand Portage after a nearly 300-mile run.